Greetings, my fellow eagles and the entire world. This is Eagle Emmanuel Mensah with inspirations and guidance from Eagle Helen Mensah in the unseen world, coming into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment. Today is the 23rd of August in the year 2024. And the Bible says, this is the day the Lord has made. And for that matter, we should rejoice and be glad in it. And so I take this opportunity to invite the whole world to join me to give thanks to God for the day that He has granted unto us. And life in general, life is beautiful, life is wonderful, life is glorious, life is God Himself, flowing through all things, including mankind. Today, I'm going to speak to you on the topic, as you think and feel, so shall you be. Or, as you think and feel, so shall you be. You will only become what you think and feel. This is a law. There can never be anything other than this. And so, a human being, by nature, is a thinking being. And as a thinking being, man has the power to create and to make anything that he desires. He can create beautiful things to make his life beautiful and wonderful. And at the same time, he can create horrible and bad situation in his or her own life, all by the power of thought, the power of the mind. And so, as far as the universe is concerned, and human beings as part of the equation, nothing comes into our life uninvited, but we think things into being. And that is why we are told in the good book that God created human beings in His own image and likenesses. God declared everything into being. And as an image and likeness of the same presence, the same being that declared everything into existence, you also declare life situation, circumstances, and everything into existence. And therefore, as soon as we become conscious of this fact and we take the right steps to think deliberately and to declare the things that we want only in our lives, we will have a life that is full of joy, prosperity, enjoyment, and excitement. But if we don't, then we create a life, a world that is full of confusion, misery, fear, and worry. Unfortunately, human beings have taken to this path, and therefore we think we have educated ourselves, we have trained ourselves to believe that we can think about one thing and get the other, or the opposite of it. And therefore, when situation arises, we gather ourselves. Those who are in religion say they are praying, and therefore they talk about the situation, pray about it, cry over it, moan over it, and then they turn around expecting God to bring the answer as the opposite. Unfortunately, that is what we are doing. But that is not how life is supposed to be. We are supposed to look at things through the eyes of God, and we are supposed to think about things through the mind of God. In the mind of God, in the equation of God, everything is good, everything is perfect. God has only one perspective, and that is good. Therefore, if you are going through a situation, if you are living, if you are in existence as a human being, and you see everything around you as bad, everything around you as this or that, that means you are going against the God nature in you. And therefore, you will continue to recreate such things. You see? And so thinking is the only thing that we are here to do. No human being can deny that. You cannot exist without thinking. Without thinking, you don't exist. Then maybe you will be just a human being that mankind is maintaining with machines. But so long as you are conscious and all your five senses active, you have no choice but to think. That is a fact. You cannot decide not to think. No man or woman can hold his or her mind for even 1 hour that he or she is not going to think. It will never happen. You are a thinking being, and therefore you are always thinking. And it is as you think and feel that you will become. There is nothing there is no any other explanation. And therefore, it is necessary for us to look for the truth and then take responsibility and accountability for our own choices, our own thinking. And so as you think, so you become. So if you go into any community, if you go into any nation, if you go to any place, the nature of the existence, the nature of or the quality of life of the people is a direct reflection of how they think individually and collectively. That is a fact. The nature and the quality of the life of a person or any group of people reflects the quality or the nature of their thinking. And therefore, if you are a group of people and your life is underdeveloped, that means your minds are underdeveloped. Your thinking is so low. And therefore, you cannot develop yourself to the level that others are doing. No one can do that for you. But you have to train yourself. You have to discover the truth. You have to look for the truth and discover it and apply it in your life. But it comes to one central point that the human being is on earth here to do only one thing, and that is to think. That is it. You are here to do only one thing, that is to think. And your thinking, it is through your thinking that you create things for yourself. It is through your thinking that you take yourself to places. It is through your thinking that you condemn yourself to a certain situation or condition. And so, as you think, so you become. But as we think, as a thinking being, we are an extension of the overall being that individualized himself into us. And that is what mankind we have come to know as God. Some people call it Allah, some people infinite intelligence. It's the same thing that we are calling. Just as we have water, the Akans will have the way they call water. The Eves have the way they call water. The Igbos, all the tribes in the whole world, each has a name for water. But that doesn't mean that they are referring to something different. And that is how it is. And so, this part of us, the greater part of us, also think, and as I've already stated, God has only one perspective, and that is good. So everything is good, everything is perfect. And therefore, when you look at things in a negative way, you go against this arrangement. Therefore, you have the feeling of the disunity between you and your higher self, and that is what that brings about your emotions. So your emotions are caused by the differences between your thoughts and the thoughts of God or your higher being. And how the emotion is translated to you is how you feel in your body. It's as simple as that. And so every human being knows what he or she is feeling based on what he or she is thinking. And once you know this, you will be intelligent. You'll be deliberate. This is where the deliberate aspect comes in. And therefore, anything that doesn't brings about joy, happiness, your goodness, you don't have to think about that. You don't have to think about that. You have to find something to distract yourself. You have to have something to move you from that to a place of happiness and joy. There are so many things that we can concentrate on. There are so many things that we can engage our mind with. But what we do is that we think when we talk about a situation in a negative way, when we talk about a situation, we describe it as it is. That is how we are solving the problem, but that is never true. And that is why the challenges, the problems of the world never goes away. It is only a handful of the human population knows what I'm talking about, and therefore they are the only ones that are thinking of the solution. All other people, the majority, 99.9% of the human population, are only helping to recreate our difficulties and challenges because we think only as it is. We do not want to talk about the situation that in the way that we want to see it in the future, but we want to talk of it as it is now. But as a matter of fact, your now is old news. What you are thinking and feeling right now creates your future. Now is past, so there is nothing you can do about it. But you can do something about your future by thinking deliberately, thinking positively, looking at life from the highest perspective. And so you are a thinking being. And now don't turn around to ask why you are going through this. Don't say, why me? Don't accuse someone for your difficulties and challenges. And don't speak from limitation, but be a bold and intelligent being, a man or woman, and take responsibility for your own thinking. And then change your thinking accordingly. And you will see things around you beginning to change. That is a fact. And so we are not just passing through this world. We are powerful human beings. We are powerful beings. And we create our realities. It doesn't matter what you are talking about. Some people will say, how can thoughts turn to things? How can thought be everything that we are doing? But the fact is that thought is the basis of everything. The greatest building that you are seeing is just the manifestation of someone's thoughts. We only use the material things to project the thoughts. Without the plan, the building will never come up. And without the thought, there will never be a plan. So as you think, so you become. Your life is based on your thinking. There is nothing. If you're looking for any physical thing, until your thoughts becomes aligned with that thing, you will never achieve it. That is a fact. It doesn't matter how you are looking at it. And so, the only thing that we have to begin to think of is to begin to discipline our mind. A human being is very powerful. You are born and created. You are created and born as a creator. And the clay, the mortar that you will use for your creation is your mind and your thought. And once you take control of these two things, you can guide yourself from a low and no poor quality life to a higher and beautiful quality life. And so, as I was saying, thoughts are creative. And we think and we become. So if we want to change our lives, then the first thing that we have to take control of is our minds. And we also have to understand how we operate at a thought and emotional level. Then we guide ourselves intelligently, beautifully to where we want to be. So as you think, so you become is a law. A man reaps what he sows. You reap what you sow. You cannot reap what you haven't sown. So in the same way, in our life, these are practical things. No man or woman will ever be caught in the court of law to defend what he or she never said. I said that is a fact. No man or woman will be condemned or will be judged for what he or she never took part in. If it happens and you are not there, even if you are accused wrongly, there will be no evidence to support the accusation, and you go scot-free. You see, and so you will never receive what you haven't taught. You will never receive what you haven't actually been connected with emotionally. And some of these things we don't even have to think, but we connect with them emotionally. You see, and so you are what you are, and what you are right now is a reflection of how you are thinking. How you are now is a reflection of what you are thinking. So if you take the whole world, where I am here in Canada, there are beautiful things. There are wonderful things. If you go to the US, if you go to the UK, Germany, France, go to those places, you'll see beautiful things. And at the same time, if I go back to my home land country, Ghana, if I go to Nigeria, if I go to Tanzania, if I go to anywhere in Africa, what is it? It's confusion. And even as a matter of fact, everything that we call development today in our life came from somewhere. So it is our thinking. It's as a reflection of our thinking. So wherever you go, wherever you go, what the people or the outlook of the people is a reflection of who they are in thinking. So you can never think about something and then go on to be something. Whatever we have become as Africans, whatever we become as Africans that we call development, it was imposed on us. It was imposed on us. As a matter of fact, they came to move us to a certain level. It was imposed on us. But so far as we are concerned, as people, a group of people, we have never been able to look at our life, our circumstances, and think over them in a positive way to get something revolutionary that every man or woman in the world is craving for. It's a fact. So it's a matter of thinking. The United States of America was one time a vast land. There were people already living there. There were people already living there before the settlers arrived. By the power of thought, by the power of thinking, now they've turned the whole place into a superpower. Canada was the same thing. They've turned the whole place into a superpower. Go to places, and now we see some of these things as wonders. We think that they are wonders. No one conjured them from heaven or from the skies onto the ground. But it was taught by thought, thought upon thought, that they have created what they have created. You as a human being, as individual, this is how it is with us. And as a matter of fact, the strength of a nation is not in the raw materials of the people, of the land, but the strength of the nation is in the quality of thinking of the people. The strength of a nation is the quality of thinking of the people individually. And then when we aggregate, the aggregate of the quality of thinking of the people becomes the quality of thinking of the nation. And therefore, the developed world, US and other things, we have people who are thinking in a certain way. And therefore, they have become what they are thinking. Deliberately. They deliberately think about it. By this deliberate thinking, they've taken men and women to the moon. They've done all kinds of things. They have proven to man, every other man, that they are gods on earth here. But today, as I'm speaking right now, many Africans who are listening to me will even call me, will tell me that I'm blaspheming for saying that a human being is a god. But whether you like it or not, you are a god. You are a god on earth here. God can never do anything without passing through you. Therefore, let us rise up. As we think, so we become. As we think and feel, so we become. If we think and feel that we are poor, we are powerless, we cannot do anything that any other people will accept, so shall it be. If we think that other people are those impeding our progress, and therefore we cannot do anything, so shall it be. So as you think and feel, so shall you become. And that is why we are moving forward. That is how we do it. As an individual person, if your perspective of life is that you were born into a poor family, you are disadvantaged, you are this and that and that and that, and therefore you don't belong to a certain class, you cannot be anything, so shall it be. You cannot think like this and then go on to become something. That is a fact. You are on a journey, and where you are going is directed by your thinking. Therefore, let us rise up as a group of people. I always make reference to Africans because I am an African. I'm a Ghanaian. I was born and raised in Ghana, and I have a very big heart for my country and my continent. That we will rise up. This is the time that we begin to think and think beyond this delusion that we have clouded ourselves with. Every African thinks that we are the only people that will have to go to heaven. And therefore, everything that you tell any African, they will tell you, oh, as for me, my salvation, my this and that. And so you are seeking salvation on earth here through poverty. And then poverty is clouded. And you are serving your fellow people. God has given us the power to transform our lives. And that is why the Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. We can never transform our lives by looking upon other people to come and do it for us. It will never happen. But we can only transform our lives by taking our minds, bringing our minds home, and think the way we want to think. Think deliberately. Think deliberately. What we want to think, what we want to create. It doesn't matter what we have gone through. It doesn't matter colonialism or whatever thing that Africans is good. It doesn't matter whether people are exploiting us now. This is the time that we have to stand up and think what we want to think and create what we want to create. And as we think and feel that, so we will become. It is the same thing if it's you in your personal life. So no one is cheating us. No one is cheating us. The white people, the Europeans and whatever are not cheating Africans. We are cheating ourselves for lack of our understanding. And it is only when we become awakened to this fact and take our rightful place as human beings who have been gifted with a powerful tool, that is a mind to transform, a mind to use to transform, to renew our life, to transform our mind daily, all the time. This kind of salvation and what we are talking of, it will take us nowhere. No one has ever made anything great in this world through the doors or through the mindset of salvation on earth here. Everyone that has done something good thought of himself that he has a divine right to be here, and therefore he has the divine right to make a contribution. It is only when we do that, then we talk of our salvation. Wherever you are going, that is fine. If you think I'm not denying or speaking against your beliefs, but we have to do it first and first. Even if we are to go to heaven, we must live a better life here before we can go to heaven. If God has already brought us here and give us all this around us, and we haven't been able to make good use of it, then what kind of accountability are we going to give to God for Him to give us the chance to go enter the heaven? Unfortunately, we are not looking at it that way. Therefore, this is the time, regardless of what we call ourselves, regardless of what we call ourselves, regardless of what we call as our faith of religion, there is a responsibility, there is the need for us to bring our minds home and put our minds together and think in the way that we want to think deliberately and make our life a better life. And that is the only way that Africa and any developed country can move on. That is the only way. Anyway, that is my message for you. And it is my prayer, it is my belief that what I'm saying will settle on your mind. It will germinate and take roots, that you will also rise up and take control of your mind. You are a thinking being. You are a thinker. And as you think, so shall you be. And in the same way, as you think and feel, so shall you become. So be mindful and be deliberate on the things that you choose to think about. Now, may the overshadowing presence of God that keeps the stars in the open, such that they do not fall on us, that keeps the planets in the open, such that they do not clash with one another, lead and guide you, direct you, open your mind, illuminate you, such that you see the light, you see the freedom that you hold, and take control of your life and create your life the way you want it, as a deliberate thinker, a deliberate creator with the almighty, all-powerful, infinite intelligence. Thank you, and God bless you. Once again, let me remind you that if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do well to do so, and also do well to pass on this message to people in your network. Help us to disseminate or to spread this message of empowerment, enlightenment, that will bring prosperity, that will bring development, that will bring every good thing in our lives and spread on our streets as a reflection of who we are. Thank you, and God bless you.